who've been taking your don't let you guys down over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now it's exactly on the dot at 5:05 over here. Let us get started over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, can someone just let me know, give me a thumbs up if you can see my slides okay. Just give me a sec. Just give me a sec, and I'm getting into the slides over here very quickly. The internet is not functioning all that efficiently. Okay, can you guys see my screen okay over here? If you guys can see my screen okay, just give me a thumbs up. Can you guys see me a thumbs up? If you can see my screen okay? Thumbs up, okay, fine. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so can you, just to be sure that everybody is on the same page, can you just tell me what do you see on my screen? What is the first word that you see on my screen? Just type the answer in the chat group for me, just to make sure that you're seeing the right screen. Because what happened on the last Zoom, I was showing on another screen. Hi, everyone. Yes, that's correct. You got it already. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's show over here on the emGuarde presentation and also the demo live video to share with all of you guys. And I'm also going to be sharing with you guys the business plan here as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me just do a bit of a disclaimer over here. Today, I'm actually a little under the weather. The reason why I was under the weather is because I was in a meeting room yesterday that was really, really dusty. And unfortunately, because of that, I was actually down with throat infection and also flu as well. Normally, when the flu happened, I would start to lose memory on things. Yeah. So, guys, so if today I do not manage to give you guys a good show, the highest energy show that I normally deliver, can you guys pardon me on that? If you're okay with that, ladies and gentlemen, can you help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys? Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Big yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Please keep your Zoom on the mute mode at all time for distraction management purposes. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, can I invite everybody to put their video on the on mode for me, please? Because I'm a very visual person. If I were to crack a joke in between, if I see you guys smiling, that would just motivate me that much more. So, guys, can I get everybody to please put their video on mode for me, please, guys? Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. You guys are awesome. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let us get started with the show here for today. Awesome. Thank you so much. And now, guys, there are two parts of the presentation over here. Part number one, I would like to share with you guys the awareness of what is electromagnetic fields and what is this radiation that is lurking around us that is actually very dangerous for our family over here. And I'm going to be sharing with you the emGuarde and also the demo videos. And that is part number one. And after that, I'm going to go on to actually handle part number two over here, which is the business plan. If you think part number one is exciting, wait till you see part number two over here. And for some of you guys where your house is not protected by an emGuarde yet, I'm going to throw a challenge to all of you guys at the end of the 90-minute session, which is just right about 6:30, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to throw a challenge to all of you guys. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, if you take on this particular challenge, you're going to have a transformational experience for all of you guys here together. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me get started with the show here today. Okay, that's all right, not a problem. Let me get started with giving you guys a bit of a context before I get into the presentation over here. 30 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, our children, 30 years ago, children, and this is what we play. We play the rounded pebbles, the marbles, and we play the bottle caps. We play games that are using our fingers, and we play lots of games that are not associated with devices. How many of you guys in your home country, you have games as such over here? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for all your response. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a very, very connected speaker. It's the more energy and more love that I actually get from you, the more energy and more love I'm able to deliver to all of you guys. Can I get everybody's cooperation? If I were to ask you any question, can you help me answer some simple yes or simple no or some simple answer will do, guys? Can you do that to cheer me on for today, guys? Can you do that? If you can you help me all type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys? Awesome. Awesome. That's the kind of energy that we're talking about over here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. 30 years ago, children, and this is what we play. But today, ladies and gentlemen, children are synonymous with devices already. Children are no longer playing the type of games that we played 30 years ago. And in fact, how many of you guys agree with me that our children is closer to their mobile devices than they are with us as their parents? How many of you guys agree with me? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Shirley, definitely. Thank you so much. Yes, sadly, that is actually happening. Yeah, William, thank you. And guys, we know that our children is very close to their devices, but do we know that these devices actually pose a lot of invisible threat to our children? And I personally call it the silent killer. There's a lot of harm that is causing to our children as a result of all the devices over here. What are some of the harms that we are talking about over here, ladies and gentlemen? Let's look at it holistically from the big picture point of view first, guys. Allow me to talk about the earth pollution. On earth, we have water pollution over here. We can see, we can touch it. And we have air pollution. We can actually smell it. Then we have noise pollution. We can hear it. But do you know that there is another type of pollution which is the most dangerous and the latest type of pollution to our body is called the EMF radiation pollution over here. And EMF stands for electromagnetic fields. And what it basically means is this, ladies and gentlemen, the device, our best friend device that we hold in our hands, here, and not only our handphones remit out a dangerous type of radiation, even our laptops remit out a dangerous type of radiation. And why do we call it radiation pollution over here, ladies and gentlemen? Just look around your room very quickly. Just look around your room. You have to start counting how many electronic devices in your homes, guys. Start counting very, very quickly. How many of these devices? If you finish counting already, ladies and gentlemen, just type a number in the chat group for me. Is it 10? Is it 5? Or is it 15? Just help me type a number in the chat group right now for me, please. How many devices, including every single light bulb, including your phones, including your PowerPoints? 15, 6, wow, 20, 12. So many devices around us. 10. 6. Wow, Sonia said 15. On average, you can see from the screen over here, the whole house is definitely more than 10 devices. That's why we call it the radiation pollution. It is actually among us. This silent killer is among us, causing harm to our family members over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is so important for us to have our family protected. Now, guys, allow me to connect with you guys a little bit over here. You can see that there are 8 items on the screen over here, ladies and gentlemen. Can you help me type an answer in the chat group over here? How many of these devices that you see on screen that your house do not have? Just help me type an answer in the chat group right now. How many of these devices that your house do not have? For example, if you don't have a microwave, just type 1. 1 out of 8 over here. How many of these devices that your homes do not have? I see a lot of 1s. 4. Wow. 0. 0 means you have everything in the house. I see a lot of 1s. I see a lot of 0s. I see a lot of 2s. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your response over here. Now, I don't know about you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I'm from Malaysia. My parents always say this, don't buy house below high tension wire. So I asked my mom, why don't we buy house below high tension wire? And she says that it's because it's full of radiation. But ladies and gentlemen, do you know one thing? If you have 7 out of 8 items, 6 out of 8 items over here, you are already living in the house below high tension wire in the modern days environment, much like the diagram that you see on screen right now over here. You're already living in a house below high tension wire, and check this out. Isn't it dangerous or not dangerous over here? So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what is the negative effect of electromagnetic disturbance over here. When it comes to negative effect, ladies and gentlemen, I only want to listen to the most reliable health organization in the world, WHO. And WHO released this particular press release in 2011. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen. And it says, the WHO/International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified radiofrequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic. Carcinogenic means cancer-causing to humans under the grouping of 2B. One of my colleagues was curious one day. What he did was he went online and actually searched what else is under the grouping, the category of 2B. And after he did the search, guess what he found out, ladies and gentlemen? He found out that cigarette smoking is also under the category of 2B. Which means what, guys? Which means we're all sitting in this nice, serene environment, the aircon environment, thinking that it's actually very safe. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is equivalent to you sitting next to a smoker right next to you. In fact, if I were to dramatize the situation a little bit more, sitting next to a smoker is probably safer. The reason is because we can smell it, and we can smell the smoke, we can decide to walk away. Where else, this invisible threat, this silent killer over here, a lot of us don't even realize that we are in an environment that is on high radiation pollution. Case in point over here, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Now, guys, have you ever been into some places before that you have suddenly this mysterious headache, or suddenly you feel that you have a heavy shoulder? How many of you guys experienced that before? Have me type yes or no in the chat group if you have experienced certain places. Yes, Lena is saying yes over here. Thank you. Yes, yes, for some of us. Let me give you an example. Some of the places that used to cause me headache that I don't even realize it was a high radiation area. As a speaker myself, ladies and gentlemen, I do lots of talks, and I do lots of rehearsals as well. That means I'm in the function room a lot of the time. But in this function room, every single time when I do the rehearsals without the emGuarde, 2 hours later, I always have this mysterious headache. And then it is almost overwhelming that I have to walk out of the function room for a while and get a bit of a breather air. Now that I'm in the emGuarde business, I know exactly why that is actually happening. The reason why that is happening is simply because that I was in a high radiation environment. It only makes sense, ladies and gentlemen, simply because you see, when it is a function room, we have all sorts of electronic gadget devices are there. The speakers are there, the overhead projectors are there, all the Wi-Fi's are there, all the electronic devices are there. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, do you know that your TV room or your TV area is consistently the area with the highest level of radiation? So guys, for some of you guys, you have not got your home protected by emGuarde, seriously consider to take on this particular challenge at the end of 90 minutes over here at 6:30 to have your family protected over here. All right, now guys, let me tell you a bit further. Based on the increased risk for glioma, of course, guys, I forgot to tell all of you guys that ever since I started using emGuarde in all the function room during my rehearsals, guess what? The headache goes away. No more headache, no more tightness, no more need of actually having to have a breather outside. In fact, the environment is so soothing for me. Right now, I'm sitting talking to all of you guys. Even though I'm under the weather right now, my energy is still good. It's because I'm sitting right next to my favorite gadget. It's called the emGuarde that is protecting me at the same time right now. Now, it went on by saying, ladies and gentlemen, based on the increased risk for glioma is a malignant type of brain cancer associated with wireless phone use, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Now, what it basically is saying with this very technical article is this, guys, that this, our best friend, our handphone, causes brain tumor. Not only this, even our laptops, even our air cons, even our hair blowers, and all these gadgets I'm talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, also emit out high levels of radiation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you a real-life case study over here. A friend of mine, let's say, let me not reveal her real identity. Let's call her Cindy. Cindy, there was one time that as a friend actually called, hey Cindy, can you come over to my house and do the demo thing? You know, so guys, I'm going to share with you a demo video later. So, and yeah, I just bought a house and I got a big TV room. So Cindy went over and did all the testing with the gadget and say, hey, you've got a high radiation environment over here. You've got to actually purchase an emGuarde. You've got to have this particular gadget protecting your house. So the friend said, sure. Then the friend bought a unit. And after that, this particular friend, Cindy, was actually curious and said, hey, you've been telling me that your children has been getting sick, yeah? She said, yeah. Especially your baby, right? Yes. Can I ask you a question if you don't mind me asking? She said, yeah. What is it, yeah? Can I know where do you keep your baby most of the time? Where do you take care of your baby and keep your baby most of the time? She says, I keep my baby in the TV room. My goodness, why do you keep your baby in the TV room? She says, because it's most of the time quiet here. No, please bring your baby for a checkup because your TV room is full of radiation. And after she bring the baby for a checkup, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? When the diagnosis came back, the baby also contracted glioma. The baby also has brain tumor, ladies and gentlemen. Such a disturbing story over here, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that we need to make sure that as a loving parents to our children, we need to actually keep our children safe at all times. Now, guys, I just came back from the EEW convention last quarter, and I remember Dr. Pinky from Philippines was actually on stage. And do you know that Dr. Pinky has written this particular book called "Stop Cooking Your Kid's Brain"? And inside this particular book, there are various type of statistics over there. And I remember when she was on the stage, she was sharing a statistic that really that really, really moved my heart over here. And do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that brain tumor among children has increased by 300% in the last 20 years. Guys, it's 300%, not 30%, not 3% we're talking about here. It's 300% in the last 20 years. Now, guys, I don't know about some of you guys who are listening to this statistic. What do you have? What do you have in mind? Some people may think that, hey, maybe Marcus is exaggerating. He looks like a sales guy to me. Now, guys, let me just tell you something over here. I remember 3 months ago, I was giving this particular talk in a small group of people, of 15 people in this small island called Penang in Malaysia. And I was sharing this particular statistic again, about 300% 300% increase of brain tumor among children. And one particular parent sitting right in front, she just hands up and say, hey, Marcus, can I just comment a little bit about your statistic over here? I don't know her at all. In fact, I was stunned because I was the speaker and I was giving the talk, right? And then I say, yeah, sure. Go ahead and make your comments. And then she says, my name is Lucy. You don't know me, Marcus. I'm here listening to you for the first time. But I want to tell you something, Marcus. I'm a piano teacher, and I have a student who has contracted brain tumor. And what happened was that I went into the hospital in Penang to visit my student. And when I get into the cancer ward, I was shocked. The reason why I was shocked is simply because that when I go in, I see the entire cancer ward is full of children, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, immediately I got goosebumps. I said, Miss Lucy, what you say here is exactly the statistic I was talking about. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just one isolated story over here. There's so many people that has been associated with a hospital or working in a hospital. When I tell them this statistic, immediately they nodded and say, Marcus, it is true. More and more children are getting brain tumor, ladies and gentlemen. So, guys, it does make sense why all these kids are getting brain tumor, because what are the age group of people that uses this device the most, our handphones the most, guys? Our children. And what we don't realize is this: whenever they lock themselves inside the room and using this particular mobile phone over here, they're feeding themselves brain tumor, ladies and gentlemen. So how many of you guys, ladies and gentlemen, when you listen to this statistic, you will acknowledge the fact that you love your family? Guys, please tell me, type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, if you love your family. Go ahead. How many of us love our family? If you love your family, how many type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys? Yes, thank you so much, guys. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you guys who love your family over here, allow me to suggest to you, having your family protected by emGuarde is a non-negotiable. And ladies and gentlemen, for some of us are already in this business, can you see this opportunity? How big is this opportunity that every single house in your home country needs to have a unit of emGuarde? Thank you so much for your response over here. Some people may say, Marcus, this is 2011. Do you have anything newer than that? The answer is yes. But before I show you something new over here, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. For some of you guys who are pretty skeptical, you haven't actually used an emGuarde machine yet, if you want to go to the internet and do some check, go ahead and go to the internet and do some check. But guys, I want to manage your expectation over here. When you get into the internet, generally there's two major camps. Cam number one is what I call the G cam. G stands for government. The G cam over here. And the G cam will say, oh, there is no conclusive evidence that EMF causes harm to us because it's low-level radiation. There is another camp which is called the activists. The activists who are full of practitioners, full of doctors who believe in the truth. And more evidence are actually coming out that the EMF is causing a lot of direct and indirect complications to our health, to all of us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this particular article to me is conclusive enough for me to know that EMF is causing a lot of harm to my family members over here. Allow me to share with you. This article is actually in May of 2025. It's just a few months ago we're talking about over here. Now, guys, allow me to share with you this video. This particular article is funded by WHO. And let me just read out the highlighted ones to you. Quite a lengthy article over here. And it says, WHO-funded studies find that EMF exposure increases incidence of cancer over here. And then what it says, go on by saying is this: the World Health Organization-backed study has found strong evidence linking cell phone radiation to cancer in lab animals. There are links between cell phone radiation and two types of cancer in lab animals. Previously, there's only one type of cancer, which is brain tumor. Now there's two types of cancer. Let me just tell you more. The finding of this systematic review indicates that there is evidence that the EMF exposure increases the incidence of cancer in experimental animals with the COE. What does COE stand for? COE stands for certainty of evidence, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it is no if and no but. It's certainty of evidence being the strongest for two types of cancer, which is malignant heart schwannomas, which is called nerve tumor, and also gliomas, brain tumor. Previously, they only found brain tumor. Now, even nerve tumor as well. And guys, with my personal research over here, I know for a fact that more and more research back study is going to come up, more and more cancer studies is going to come up. Mark my word for it, I am anticipating that more cancer associated with EMF is going to be out very, very soon. All right. The author go on to conclude, the result of this systematic review provide high or moderate COE, certainty of evidence, for several cancer sites relevant to cancer hazard identification for humans, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen. You interpret however way that you want to interpret. Let me tell you how I interpret it. This, to me, is enough and strong enough evidence to say that the EMF is causing a lot of harm to our family member, the invisible threat. Let me tell you more. Another study done by EMF Safety Network. And what they've done is this. They've gathered 871 people. And what they do is expose all these 871 people in a high radiation environment. What do you mean by high radiation environment? Much like the 8 household item that you saw just now. And after a test period later, they interview these people. And these are all the response they have given. And these are the top 5 response. Now, guys, do me a favor, okay? Let me get you guys involved over here. I'm going to read out all the top 5 response over here, okay? If you do have this particular problem right now, or you do have this problem prior to using emGuarde, help me type yes in the chat group for me, okay? Guys, can you do that for me? All right, there. Let me get started, yeah? How many of you guys still have this problem? Now, 71% of the 871 people reported they have sleep problem. How many of you guys have sleep problem or used to have sleep problem prior to emGuarde? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your response. Thank you for your response, Ravin. I want to tell you this, guys. I used to have sleep problem. Now, guys, sleep problem is actually a big spectrum, yeah? A lot of people thought the sleep problem only limited to people unable to sleep. No, there's only one side of the spectrum. Let me tell you, sleep problem actually ranges from you not being able to sleep at night all the way into not being able to have a lot of deep sleep at night. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the cell repair time is the deep sleep time? So when you sleep for 9 hours, it does not necessarily mean you have 9 hours of deep sleep. Because you know why I know this, guys? I have a smart watches with me, and there was one time prior to using the emGuarde, I was actually sleeping 9 hours. Just take a guess, guys. Prior to using emGuarde, yeah, I slept for 9 hours. Guess how long is my deep sleep? Just type an answer in the chat group. See whether you can guess it right. I slept for 9 hours. Take a guess how many hours was my deep sleep. That time, I have not started using emGuarde yet. 3 hours, decent guess. 2 hours, decent guess. 3 hours, decent guess. 2.5 hours, decent guess. All of you guys are wrong. How about this, guys? How about this? Half an hour. Oh, yeah, someone got it right. 30 minutes. I slept for 9, but my deep sleep hour is only 30 minutes. That explains why we thought when we slept so much hours and we wake up, we still feel tired. How many of you guys experienced that before? Help me type yes in the chat group. Where you slept for long hours, you wake up, you still feel exhausted and tired. Yes, some of you guys experienced that before. That's the reason why, because you do not have good deep sleep. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, me and my wife experienced the same problem as well. We are unable to actually sleep, and we are unable to actually get deep sleep prior to using emGuarde. And today, we sleep like a baby, ladies and gentlemen. I always tell people, now my sleep is so good. In fact, I will not go anywhere without an emGuarde with me. I will not sleep in any hotel, any Airbnb without the emGuarde turned on. Yeah, I know it because I know the difference. There was one time I was in an Airbnb, right? And then I on the emGuarde. So I'll make sure I on the emGuarde, I go to sleep. The next day, I wake up with a headache. Now, guys, I want to tell you something. I used to have regular headaches, and I buy the Panadol by the box, right? I used to have regular headaches, but after using the emGuarde, I no longer have headache anymore, right? And this particular time, I was in an Airbnb. I remember I on the emGuarde, I went to sleep, and then when I wake up, I have this headache, the piercing headache. And then I was thinking, what happened? I never have headache anymore. I go and check on my emGuarde. Hey, how come the light is turned off? And then I check on it. Actually, there was actually the fuse will have a bit of faultiness in it. It was not working. It spoiled. So that's the reason why I was having the headache. So guys, sleeping is very, very important. When we sleep, it rejuvenate our body and everything else become very much better after you have a good sleep, yeah? Number two, 64% of the 871 people reported fatigue. How many of you guys experience fatigue? You feel that nowadays your energy level is not as good as before. Have you typed yes in the chat group if that's you or prior to using emGuarde? Go ahead. Fatigue, yes, yes. Thank you, guys. I want to tell you this, guys. I am 46 years old. And last year, before coming into the emGuarde business, I wasn't using emGuarde over here at all. And I remember after meeting two customers, I'll be like, wow, I'm getting exhausted already. I think my age is actually catching up. I need to take more rest. Last year, I was 45. This year, I'm 46 years old. In fact, this year, I feel I have more energy than ever before. The reason why that is so is because of emGuarde. Let me tell you, after using the emGuarde, this point itself, fatigue, being able to actually rejuvenate the energy for me is good enough reason for me to buy an emGuarde and carry every single places I go to. I used to have the fatigue. Today, people call me Superman. Yeah, look at me, ladies and gentlemen. I just saw a doctor this morning, and I'm here talking to all of you guys. I have flu, and I have throat infection, and the energy level is still able to maintain thanks to this gadget emGuarde over here that managed to put me in the good composed state over here. Now, number three, 61% of the 800 old people actually reported they have concentration, memory, and learning problem. How many of you guys got this problem, having difficulty? You feel that your memory is actually deteriorating. You're having difficulty remembering people's name. How many of you guys have this problem? Have you typed yes in the chat group right now for me, please? Yes, having difficulty remembering people's name? Is either now or prior to using the emGuarde. If you experience that, go ahead and type yes. Thank you so much, guys. I want to tell you a funny story. Prior to coming into the emGuarde business, I was in the education business. There was this particular PA of mine that I work with on a day-to-day basis. So one day I was chit-chatting with her, talking and talking and talking, and suddenly I just stare at her for a while. And then my PA was thinking, what is Mr. Marcus thinking? What I was thinking is, what's her name already? Yeah, I can't even remember her name. Oh my God, I think I'm getting old already. My goodness. You know, every single time when I talk about memory, a lot of people tell me, yeah, maybe because of age catches up. Guys, don't believe in that, ladies and gentlemen. The radiation has a lot to do with our memory loss. And today, a lot of people are saying that my memory is so good, I'm able to speak so fast. In order to slow me down, they have to pluck out the emGuarde. Some people are saying that, yeah. No, radiation has a lot to do with it, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me on that. Number four, 60% people reported stress and anxiety. How many of you guys actually experience stress and anxiety over here? Help me type yes in the chat group right now. Thank you. Yes, I speak so fast, yeah? Thank you. Thanks to the emGuarde, not my problem, emGuarde's problem. Yes, 100%, yes. Stress and anxiety. And last but not least, guys, how many of you guys experience headache? 52% of the 871 people reported headache. How many of you guys got regular headaches? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Thank you. I used to have a colleague, and he mentioned to me every single week he used to have this migraine headache. You know, because he works with a lot of gadgets, phones, just gadgets, right? And laptops and stuff. He said after using emGuarde, the headache just goes away. And one particular day, as I was presenting to his client, there was 5 phones, mobile phones on the table. Just by having 5 mobile phones on the table, he is having a migraine headache again. He says, right after I turn on the emGuarde, 15 minutes later, the migraine goes away, the headache goes away. How amazing this particular machine is. Ladies and gentlemen, so many of you guys type yeses in all 5 of this problem. Did you know that with this sample size of 80 over people, close to 90 people in the room, you are already living in a high radiation environment before you realizing it and noticing it? For some of you guys, your house are not protected by emGuarde. Today is the day for you to make a decision to have your family protected. Now, guys, I want to go on and tell you a little bit more, maybe a final few slides over here on evidence of why EMF has actually caused direct and indirect harm to our family over here. This is Dr. Magda Harvest, and she actually did a test. Do you know that a healthy red blood cell actually looks like this? Very sparse and very separated. I'm going to share you a video very, very soon that you can actually get to see this video test done live, right? And she actually discovered 70 minutes of using your mobile, using your laptops or desktop over here, your red blood cells start to stick together like a happy family. Guys, I don't need to convince you, right? When our red blood cells start to stick together, is our blood circulation getting better off or getting worse off, ladies and gentlemen? Answers in the chat group for me. What do y'all think? Better off or worse off? Definitely worse off, right? So when our circulation is actually worse off, all sorts of complication is going to come. But guys, that's not the scary one. The scary one I want to tell you here is this: 10 minutes to be on your mobile phone, just 10 minutes. Your blood sample will stack on top of each other, yeah, and they clump up together. And there's a name for that. And the name is actually called rouleau formation, or in Malaysia, we call it rouleaux formation over here. And when you can see the rouleaux formation, why is it there's a name for that? If you have any doctor friends, go and talk to them. What is rouleau formation? And they will probably tell you rouleau formation is also found identical in all, let me repeat, all cancer patient over here. Wow, guys, what does it mean here? It means when we wake up first thing in the morning, we reach up to our phone and we tap our phone for about 10 minutes. Our entire body is already mirroring a cancer patient over here. Whether it actually become a terminal cancer is a separate matter over here, but it's scary enough for us to know, and for our children, that they already have this rouleau formation over here. The author went on by saying here, ladies and gentlemen, the rouleau formation also causes symptoms like poor circulation. Do you have any friends with vertigo problem? We have a couple of reported cases. Even people with vertigo problem after using the emGuarde have significant improvement. And some even claim that they have completely healed after using the emGuarde. All right. So this also causes a low oxygen transport. When our cells have low oxygen transport, it basically heading towards cancer. This also causes headache and fatigue. This also causes difficulty in concentrating. This also causes numbness and tingling sensation. Now, guys, allow me to do a disclaimer over here. Some people might be thinking, "Hey, Marcus, you know what? So after using the emGuarde, I've experienced so much of improvement. You know the top 5 items you talk about now, no more. Marcus, this is such an amazing medical device." Hang on there, guys. Now, allow me to just give a clarification over here. The emGuarde is not a medical device at all. In fact, the emGuarde only has one function. The only function that they do is to harmonize the environment so that the harmful radiation goes down to a level that is no longer harmful to us. It is not a medical device, not a medical device over here. The reason why some of us experience this side effect of health over here is simply because that the radiation around us has been suppressing our health. We don't even realize it. So the minute the radiation has been cut off, we go back to our own original health, which is a healthy a healthy version of ourselves. So guys, don't misunderstand. So it is important to clarify this. Now, guys, some people may ask, Marcus, what about children? Is children badly affected by this radiation? Guys, please listen to Dr. Satvinder in this particular video, that you understand why our children is especially vulnerable, as much as 10 times more vulnerable compared to us adults. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this video from Dr. Satvinder.
The children's brain, like the hypothalamus, it tends to absorb 1.5 to 2 times more electromagnetic fields than an adult. But if you look at the child's bone marrow, it absorbs an amazing 10 times more electromagnetic radiation than an adult. The brain is much more absorbent, the skull is thinner, and because the relative size is smaller, if I give you the same dosage, your smaller tissue is going to absorb more than the bigger tissue. The first thing you have to do is keep the appliance that's emitting the radiation further apart from you, like handphones, off all power points when they're not in use. Number 3, you could use electromagnetic field harmonizers, which will balance out the radiation side effects from the appliance.
How many of us will acknowledge that we all love our children? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys. How many of us love our children? Me, definitely. If you love your children, ladies and gentlemen, protect your children with the emGuarde. Now, introducing to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is emGuarde, and this is such a beautiful machine, and this is a machine that will not go anywhere without, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, if you're thinking of doing this particular business, it's so easy to do because it's only 430 grams. It is so lightweight, ladies and gentlemen. I remember there was this time I was in Ipoh, one of the small town in Malaysia over here. I was presenting to this auntie. Yeah, auntie, this lovely old lady over here, right? And then she says she was actually holding the emGuarde and she was saying, so like it must have been very, very cheap, this particular device. And I was joking with this auntie. I say, auntie, if you want something heavier, how about let me sell you a stone? No, auntie. Now, guys, I want to tell you something over here. This device is intentionally made lightweight and yet durable as well. So this is a fantastic business to be in. In fact, this business is much easier to do compared to Wi-Fi. Yeah, Wi-Fi, you need to put wiring and pipe wiring and stuff like that. You don't have to. Just using the USB Type-C power cable is good to go. Yeah. Now, guys, allow me to share with you a video, and this is the official video of emGuarde.
Your home is your sanctuary, a place of comfort, wellness, and security for your family. Today, we're using more digital and electronic devices. While they bring convenience and enjoyment, these devices also emit electromagnetic energies constantly during use. Invisible to our eyes, these electromagnetic energies affect the environment around us. As a result, we're exposed to these types of energies day in, day out. Introducing emGuarde, a patented technology by emGuarde. When turned on, emGuarde harmonizes targeted electromagnetic noise radiation within 1 gigahertz, creating a defense zone of 8 meters. emGuarde harmonizes the environment around you, making it safe for you and your loved one. Simply place it wherever it's needed and plug it into a dedicated USB port, whether you're on the go, at work, or in the comfort of your home. emGuarde is designed to integrate seamlessly in any situation. You can now enjoy the benefits of technology without worrying about any potential risks. Protect your family's health and well-being. Contact your 𝐏𝐺𝐸 distributor today. emGuarde. Change your environment, change your life.
Change your environment, change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for this particular video over here, yeah? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, guys, you saw the ruler formation from Dr. Magda Havas, right? And I would like to share with you a real-life video that is done by a friend of ours, and he actually went over to the clinic to do the before and after effect over here. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular video. For some of you guys, the doctor that actually does this particular video over here is Dr. Roland Victor. And for some of us in Malaysia, you may not know who Dr. Roland Victor is. He is the guy that basically sued the government, and he's the guy that actually bring the awareness of the danger and the harm that was actually caused by the vaccine injection. Yeah, he won the case in the end, so he's someone that is quite reputable, right? Check this particular video out.
So what we can do is, you get on your phone for maybe close to about half an hour, holding it, and then we'll check again and see how does the capillary blood look like.
It looked like my first blood test result was clean, with no signs of blood clotting or blood clumps. But would just 30 minutes of cell phone usage really do any harm at all to my body? I hope not. Let's find out.
Let's have a look. So you can see all the cells now being stacked. See, all of them, you cannot see those loose cells. You can see most of the cells now all stacked.
Bumped up together, right?
Exactly, exactly. Just look at that. The big message is always to try to reduce our exposure. It's almost impossible not to use, but try to be a bit more cautious in the usage.
So the thing is, I know you say it's better to reduce. It's impossible for somebody like me. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there that also need to be holding their phones. So is there anything I can do?
This is the device that can actually help harmonize your electromagnetic frequency wave. And you want to see how it works?
Sure.
Come.
The Environment Harmoniser turned on beside me, Dr. Roland and I proceeded to do a third blood test to see just how well this technology supposedly suppresses EMI. Okay, so this looks completely different to the last test, doesn't it?
Yep. Clearly looks different, lesser ruler formation.
Can you see that, ladies and gentlemen? How amazing this particular test is. From ruler formation over here, 20 minutes later, it becomes healthy red blood cells again. Ladies and gentlemen, I always say that Excuse me. I always say that this is such an amazing and fantastic product. Right now, we do not have any direct competitor. We only have indirect competitors. Now, I always say that this particular product is not habitually invasive. Now, what do I mean by habitually invasive? Let's just check out the indirect competitor over here. We saw companies who claim that if you take the supplements, you'll be strong against the radiation. I'm not too sure whether it works or not. And there are also companies who claims that you will take the device and gadget and blow into your own body, it will be against radiation. There's also companies who sell anti-radiation clothes as well. If you wear on it, you'll be anti-radiation. Now, guys, those were the indirect competitors. And the indirect competitors, frankly speaking, are habitually invasive. What do I mean by habitually invasive? Now, just like some of these items over here, if you buy these items, the indirect competitors, maybe you use it, maybe you use the device and blow, but try asking your spouse to do it, they won't do it. Try asking your children to do it, do you think they will do it? They won't do it as well. And then what's going to happen next? You're going to argue with them. We don't want to buy products and back home to argue with our family members, right? Whereas the emGuarde over here, one of its kind, is the only type of technology that you can find when you on it, ladies and gentlemen, it goes with a Wi-Fi concept, which means 1,000+ square feet or 100 over square meters that we're talking about. When they walk into the environment, they are already protected. How amazing this particular product is. How many of you guys feel that we have an amazing product over here? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, just as simple as just walking into an environment. My son liked to play his iPad, right? But he don't realize that there's an emGuarde actually sitting right next to him. And after he finished playing his iPad over here, he's been protected by the emGuarde at all time. Let me share with you more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is FCC. FCC stands for Federal Communications Commissions of the United States. In essence, the FCC are the people that control what is an acceptable level of radiation, what is not acceptable level of radiation. And according to FCC, that these are all our operating frequency of our body over here. I'm going to show you another demo video, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see that the demo video tuned the frequency on 72 megahertz. Why 72 megahertz is because that is our normal brain frequency over here. And remember, the EMF causes what type of cancer? Brain tumor, and also nerve tumor was the latest discovery over here. So it's important for us to actually have tuned our budget device over here into 72 megahertz. Later, you'll get to see a colleague of mine, in fact, one of my very first few teachers that has taught me how to do a good emGuarde presentation over here, Egbert, and Egbert is going to share that video with you. So guys, do take note over here, anything below 200 megahertz is acceptable. Anything more than 200 megahertz is not acceptable based on the FCC exposure safety limit. Guys, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this demo video of why having an emGuarde protecting your family is so important. Enjoy.
Hey guys, Egbert here, and I would like to show you a very simple presentation about the emGuarde. Right, so the emGuarde is an environment harmonizer capable of suppressing the e-noises that are being produced by your electronic gadgets. Now, if you're wondering what an e-noise is, according to PubMed, e-noise is defined as signal from electronic products and instruments that emit radiation and electromagnetic fields. It includes not only the acoustic, but also the non-acoustic noises. And if you're wondering what the non-acoustic noises, it means that the noises that we are unable to audibly hear. Hence, I have a very special detector called a 𝐏𝐫𝐨𝐝. So a 𝐏𝐫𝐨 is called a software-defined radio, where it's able to turn all of these inaudible e-noises into something that we can experience. So this is how it looks like, and let me show you guys. Let me show you how it works. All right, so it operates with an antenna, and as soon as I turn it on, as you can see, there is basically a sort of decibel reading for the noises, all right? And you see that there's a green waterfall spectrum. And if you're wondering what these e-noises sound like, let me show you. Let me turn on the volume. My goodness, guys, these e-noises are absolutely uncomfortable to hear. You hear them and guys, it's absolutely crazy, all right? So over here, I'm going to show you exactly what the emGuarde does, right? At the moment, the emGuarde is not plugged in, okay? But I'm going to plug it in right now, and you're going to see firsthand how these e-noises are immediately suppressed by the emGuarde. So over here, the cable, in 3, 2, 1, go. Immediately, you see that the green waterfall spectrum has turned into a dark deep blue. The noises that you previously heard are no longer irritating. And the decibel reading here has dropped drastically, right? So I'm going to show you another reference. I'm going to unplug the emGuarde again, and we're going to see again how noisy these E noises are. Man, that's absolutely crazy. All right, so I'm going to plug the emGuarde in. I'm going to make sure that I am protected from all of these E noises that are capable of carrying radiation from our electronic gadgets. So a very simple presentation to showcase how the emGuarde works using the amazing detector budget. So I hope after this video, guys, it has perhaps raised some sort of awareness in terms of why emGuarde is necessary in today's 21st century. All right, change your environment, change your life, get an emGuarde and protect yourselves from these E noises. Egbert here, take care.
All right, then let's give a big hand for Egbert in that fantastic demo video over here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, such a simple demo, but just a very, very profound and important demo over here. All right, guys. Allow me to share with you. This is emGuarde, and the protection area is actually 4-meter radius that we're talking about. And 4-meter radius is about 540 square feet or 54 square meter over here. Some people say, how do we know it's 540 square feet or 54 square meter? All right, so we have already checked with one of our reputable university in Malaysia, University Science Malaysia, and we engaged Dr. 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 to actually do the test range report for us. And what Dr. 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 did was he went to all these places in the classroom and even in the living room of houses to actually test for the range. Right? And he actually discovered, he even went to labs as well, he discovered that if your house do not have a lot of wall blockages, some people ask me, does it go through wall? I say, yes, it does go through wall. It's just like a Wi-Fi concept over here. It goes through wall. But Dr. 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 discovered if your house do not have a lot of wall blockages over here, it went even further. It went as far as even up to 6-meter radius instead of just 4-meter radius. Now, guys, 6-meter radius is 1,220 square feet, which is about 120 square meter over here. Now, even though we are being very conservative over here, ladies and gentlemen, generally speaking, I've measured for people houses, the furthest the coverage that the emGuarde has actually gone to is up to anything between 1,000 to 1,500 square feet, which is 100 to 150 square meter. You can do the math, ladies and gentlemen. What is the square feet area of your house? You'll be able to see it. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I have actually concluded the first part of the presentation over here. Now, before I move on to the second part over here, now every single time when I've actually done into this part over here, I would usually open the floor with some questions. But because of time constraint over here, allow me to just share with you the most popular question that I get asked a lot is this. Marcus, can I know how much is that particular device over here? Now, in Malaysia, there is installment scheme for all the countries that has been launched. What I'm made to understand that usually we do have an installment scheme, right? And for Malaysia, it's as low as only 276 ringgit a month. We're talking about $65 a month. And if you work it out, it's actually so affordable. In ringgit, Malaysia is only 9 ringgit a day. 9 ringgit a day is less than $2 we're talking about per day. In fact, a Starbucks costs probably more than that. Some people, they say, Marcus, okay, if I don't want to go for the installment scheme, I know certain countries the installment scheme is not available yet. What is the big price? If I were to buy the whole thing off the rack, can I do so? And the answer is yes. So the entire price is about $1,520, thereabout, plus minus in different countries over here, about $1,500. Every single time when I mention the price, I would look at the people's expression. I'm looking at you guys' expression over here. I can almost guess what you're thinking over here. In fact, a lot of my clients are probably thinking the same way. Let me see whether I'm getting it right or not. Some people may be thinking, hey, $1,500 is expensive. Now, guys, every single time when someone tells me the product is expensive, normally I'll answer them and tell them expensive is a relative term, depending on what you compare it with. All right. Obviously, you've got to compare with something. Expensive is a product of what you are comparing it with. If I say $1,500 comparatively, you can buy a kilo Gold bar. Is that expensive? Obviously, it's not expensive because a kilo Gold bar costs about $100,000. So guys, we got to compare with something, right? And guys, allow me to share with you two comparisons. And after the two comparisons, you agree with me that this is not expensive at all. Let me share with you the two comparisons. Comparison number one is about our health. Comparison number two is about doing a business. emGuarde as a business, right? So our health first, guys. Allow me to share with you. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. As we get a little bit older over here, we save up what we call our health fund. And the health fund that we actually save up for rainy days purposes is either going to be paid to hospital or it's going to be paid to insurance company, correct? If we pay to the hospital, small problem, couple of thousand $, big problem, couple of $100,000. But if you pay to the insurance company, it's a fraction of the cost, as much as probably less than $100 per month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, emGuarde works exactly like the insurance company, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it is not me who said it. WHO actually says it that they have already found and discovered many evidence directly, indirectly is causing health complication to us as a result of the EMF radiation that is among us. And they even actually mentioned that it's possibly carcinogenic, cancer-causing, ladies and gentlemen, which means if your house is not protected by an emGuarde, ladies and gentlemen, the chances of you getting cancer is high or low, ladies and gentlemen. Type your answers in the chat group for me, please. High or low? If your house is not protected by an emGuarde. Definitely high. So what is $1,500 if you can protect your house away from the harmful invisible threat of the emGuarde, invisible threat of the EMF? Some people come to me and say, look at me, Marcus, I'm already 60 over years old. Look at me. I'm okay, I'm good. No radiation, no cancer. So ladies and gentlemen, sometime maybe you have the high antibody over here. It may not be you. Touch wood, it could be any one of your family member. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. If any one of our family member contracted cancer, it's still your problem. If any one of our family member got cancer, it's a minimum $100,000. Now let's compare. $100,000 versus $1,500. Is $1,500 expensive? Yes or no? Absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I always put this comparison and tell people the price of an emGuarde is the same as the price of an iPhone. And let me tell you why this is a better investment than an iPhone, respectively, in your own country. If I buy an iPhone for my son, it's not going to protect my family. If I buy an emGuarde for my whole family, it's going to protect my whole family. Which is why if I decide to buy an iPhone for my son, why don't I buy an emGuarde to protect my whole family? Any one of you guys agree with what I'm saying? If you agree with what I'm saying, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We have bought enough gadgets. We have bought enough iPhones. Now is the time that we buy something to protect our family together. And emGuarde is not expensive at all. In fact, I don't know about your home country over here. The price of an installment scheme of an emGuarde in Malaysia is exactly the same, almost exactly the same as us having our Wi-Fi subscription, 100 plus to 200 ringgit. So if you can have a Wi-Fi subscription that will pay indefinitely forever and ever, why can't you pay 200 ringgit for 24 months? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a no-brainer. If you love your family, emGuarde is the way to go to protect your family. So that is version number one of comparison about our health. Allow me to actually tell you about comparison with doing a business. Now, guys, I am a traditional, conventional businessman that was in the education business before. And doing this business to me is a no-brainer. Recently, I was in Penang and I was talking to a Grab driver and I asked Mr. Grab driver, will you mind if I ask you something personal? He said, sure, go ahead. I said, you do this business, the Grab business, which is like a Uber equivalent, right? The Grab. And what are your startup capital? He said, about 30,000 ringgit, which is about $10,000. Okay, so how much is a monthly installment? He says, about 600 ringgit, which is about $150. So how much money do you make per month? And then he says, somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit, which is about $1,000. I said, Mr. Grab driver, thank you so much for sharing your information with me. May I get your permission to share with you what business do I do? He said, sure, what kind of business do you do? I pay on average about $65 per month. Being in this particular emGuarde business, I'm in anti-radiation device. And on average, I've been making about close to $10,000 from day one that I'm in the business until now. Now I'm averaging over $10,000 a month. Do you think there's a huge potential in this business? He immediately asked me, Marcus, what kind of business is this I want to be in? If you were to do a comparison with doing a business, what can $1,500 do a business? What kind of business can you do with $1,500? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You can't even do a burger shop. not even a burger stand that you can use with $1,500. Now, in Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to open a cafe, it's going to cost you close to $100,000 to begin with. Where else can you actually spend so little money, which is $1,500? You can have a potential to make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, even $50,000 a month. I'm talking about emGuarde and the business opportunity I'm about to share with all of you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, to me, emGuarde is the best of both worlds. After you buy the device, you can protect your family. You will never lose. You either use it to protect your family or use it as a platform to actually have financial breakthrough for your family. With that, ladies and gentlemen, may I get your permission to share with you the business plan of emGuarde over here? Is that okay, ladies and gentlemen? If it is okay, can you help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys? Go ahead and type yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all your connection over here. Now, guys, allow me to share with you the remuneration plan. This particular plan here is, our company is called 𝐏𝐸𝐺𝐸. And 𝐏𝐸𝐺𝐸 is actually been made very, very popular. It's the company that actually sells and market the Kangen water machine as well. How many of you guys inside the room here got Kangen water machine? Just help me type yes in the chat group real quick here for me, please, guys. Yes, our favorite water machine. I wouldn't go anywhere without the water right now, ladies and gentlemen. I drink on average over 3.5 liters per day. Yes, I've just completed my 3.5 liters. So probably going to be aging towards the 4th liter already. Yes. And guys, this is a company where we have presence in 26 different countries and 43 different locations altogether. 43 different locations altogether. And the good news, that is the bad news. Which one you guys want to hear first, guys? Good or bad? All right. Let me tell you the bad news first. The bad news is there's only 10 locations where emGuarde has launched our product. Here comes the good news. The good news is only 10 locations has launched the emGuarde product, which means this is a fantastic opportunity that enables us to repeat what Mr. Amos is actually doing here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guys, I want to ask you guys one question over here. If I can turn back the clock to 15 years ago, how many of you guys would like to be like Mr. Amos, where he first started out doing the Kangen water business? How many of us? Help me type yes in the chat group for me, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be exactly like Mr. Amos. Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you. Now, the reason why I'm so excited, ladies and gentlemen, because the same opportunity is presented to you right now, ladies and gentlemen. The same opportunity that we're talking about. Because right now, the emGuarde, it is barely scratching the surface. Ladies and gentlemen, we've launched it in 2023 May, but the amount of capacity of sales that we are doing is nowhere close to the capacity of where Kangen water is. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me share the same excitement together with all of you guys. This is a 51-year-old company. And when we first started off, ladies and gentlemen, it's a company that manufactures medical device for Japanese hospital in 1974. What we're trying to say to you here is this, guys. The device is definitely reliable. Don't worry about it. Yeah. The only thing missing is your partnership over here to go all out and do this particular business. Now, guys, allow me to share with you, this is the only company that I know of where the device is actually patented. And not only that as well, even the commission system is also patented as well. Yes, you hear me correctly. The device is actually patented, but the commission system is also patented as well. Now, at first, we were wondering, why is it that we have to patent the commission system over here, ladies and gentlemen? Just give me a second over here. I just managed to log back in. Why do we have to patent the commission system? At first, I didn't understand it. I thought this is a typical direct selling company, right? Isn't it? But when I really actually pay good attention into it, I realized that no, this is not. This is not like any normal direct selling company over here. In fact, the commission system is so powerful, do you know, that if you so want to make $1 million in the next 2 to 3 years, you can actually do so. How do we go about in doing that, ladies and gentlemen? Allow me to share with you more information. Now, for time purposes, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to just share with you the first commission. There are 10 different types of commission system. Let me share with you the major type, the 8A 8-point commission over here. All right. Now, let me share with you some terminology, and this is you. For $1,500, not only do you get the gadget, the device, you're also in the business as well immediately. And let's say this is you. The minute you sell to all your friends and family members, these are called your direct sales. Quite straightforward. Directly you sell to them. All right. And if you were to sell to your friends and family members, were to sell to their friends and family members, these are called your indirect sales. Now, guys, take note, direct sales plus indirect sales is equivalent to group sales. Yeah, just remember the term group sales, because group sales is where we use the group sales to actually promote to the next level. Okay. And the machine is $1,500 of which there are 8 slices of $65 in total, about $520 to pay out as commission out of the 1,520. Now, the $520 is divided into 8 slices of pizza over here, ladies and gentlemen. How many slices of pizza are we talking about here, guys? Type it in the screen. How many slices of pizza? 8 slices of pizza over here. Thank you. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you over here. Now, every slice of pizza over here is known as 1A, and every 1A is given to a commission agent. So one slice of pizza is 1A is $65 per piece. 8 slices over here, 8 times $65 is 500. It's $520 in total. So far, so good, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your answer, guys. Just remember the pizza has 8 slices, so we're going to come back to that later, okay? Now, guys, allow me to share with you the last 2 slides, or rather last 3 slides over here before I throw in the challenge for all of you guys who have not owned an emGuarde yet, who have not have emGuarde protected your family. The minute you buy into one device, ladies and gentlemen, immediately you start off to becoming a 1A. Now, every 1A more, ladies and gentlemen, is a multiple of $65. If it is 1A, your commission is $65 per piece. If it is 2A, your commission is $130. If it is 3A, it's $195. So every 1A more is a multiple of $65. Okay? So as a 1A level, the minute you come into the business, your first direct sales and second direct sales, you get $65, quite straightforward. The minute you actually sell your third sales, you actually automatically become a 2A level. At a 2A level, your third sales to your 10th sales, that means your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, you'll be getting 130, 130, 130, 130, 130 from your third sales to your 10th sales. All right? Now, if cumulatively you have total of 10 sales and above, you get promoted to become a 3A level. At a 3A level, your 11th sales to your 20th sales, direct sales, you get 195, 195, 195, 195, all the way to your 20th sales. If cumulatively total group sales, we're talking about lifetime cumulative, not every month, yeah, guys. That's the beauty of this. I personally call it the franchising system. With a cumulative total sales of 20, you become a 4A level. At a 4A level, your 21 direct sales onwards will be $260, $260, $260, $260 per piece, all the way to your 50th unit, 50. Okay? Now, when your group sales has achieved 50 units, you actually get promoted to become a 5A level. At a 5A level, your next direct, your 51 sales onwards will be, direct sales onwards will be 325, 325, 325, 325, 325 per unit. Now, if your total sales has actually increased to 200 units, you're looking at 6A level. At a 6A level, your 201 unit sales, you're looking at 390, 390, 390, 390 per unit, $390 per unit. So far, so good, ladies and gentlemen. Are you guys following me so far? If you are, can you help me type a gentle yes in the chat group for me, please? So many 8s, yeah? So many people typing 8s, the digit 8 over here. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you. Now, for the first timer in the house, if you're not completely understood this entire explanation, don't worry. Just look for the person that invited you to come here. The person will be well-versed enough to explain it over to you, okay? Even me, myself, I have to see this 4 times before I can remember it, right? So if you roughly understand it, but you don't get it 100%, don't worry about it, yeah? I have to listen to it 4 times before I fully get it and memorize it, okay? Now, guys, allow me to share with you the second last slide over here. This is the most important simulation slide for the entire presentation itself. Now, guys, this is a very important slide, but at the same time, it's also a very complicating slide. Now, guys, is it okay? Can I get your permission that I will ask you a lot of questions over here. You'll do me a favor to answer me as fast as you possibly could. All right? Because if you're able to answer me, you'll follow the slide a lot better. Guys, can you do that for me? If you can you help me type yes in the chat group real quick for me, please? Yes. Thank you. Now, guys, follow me over here. I'm going to go as fast as I possibly could. I'm way ahead of my time, just so you know, yeah? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. You guys are absolutely awesome. Yeah, it is such a joy coming in to speak to all of you guys over here because of the connection I get from all of you guys, yeah? You guys are awesome. Okay, so now you come in with $1,500 you have a mega multi-million-dollar global business over here. Once you come into the business over here, the minute you sell to your first customer by the name of Tom over here, Tom is a 1A level. How much is your commission? Answer in the chat group real quick for me. How much is a commission for Tom? Answer is $65 is correct because it's at a 1A level over here. So that's $65. So guys, remember this. All the green color denotes is your commission. Green color means is your commission, yeah? Second person that you sell to by the name of Alex. Alex is also your 1A level. How much is your commission? Answer in the chat group real quick for me. $65 is correct as well. The third person that you sell to is Rose. Rose is your 2A level already. At a 2A level, how much is your commission? Answer in the chat group. Yes. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. Not 110, 130, yeah? Coach Vera. So it's $130. Let's go back to Tom over here. And your Tom have decided, hey, I like this particular product. I like this business. Maybe I should do the same thing. Let me recommend this particular product to my friend Grace. When Tom recommended over to Grace, how much money is Tom going to make? Answer in the chat group real quick. That's $65. That's correct. All right. And how much money will you make from Grace sales over here? Answers in the chat group real quick. Not 290, guys. The answer is also $65. That's correct. For some of you guys are scratching your head, Marcus, I thought I'm already at 130 over here. How come I dropped back to 65? Guys, in fact, not only Grace that you get $65. Grace sells to Polly, Polly sells to Arthur, Arthur sells to Ali, Abu Bakar, Ani. 8 generation down, you still get 65 for 8 generation. Now, guys, this is where I'm going to pause. I'm going to explain to you something. Lots and lots of people come to me and say, Marcus, can I know what scheme is this? What compensation plan is this? Multi-level marketing, direct selling over here? Now, guys, allow me to just explain something. The self-employed spectrum is a huge spectrum. Now, so long as you're in the business that you don't get a basic pay, you're already self-employed. But let me tell you the two extreme spectrum. Spectrum on the extreme left is multi-level marketing or direct selling. Now, on the extreme right over here is agency structure. In Malaysia, the insurance agent are in the agency structure, the unit trust agent or real estate agents are on the agency structure. So people ask me, Marcus, this falls under which side of the category over here? My personal opinion, ladies and gentlemen, this is my personal answer, not the company official answer. Neither side it falls under. It falls under someone in the middle, where I personally call it the franchising structure. Why do I call this franchising structure, guys? This is my perspective. My perspective may be different from other people. Allow me to share with you my perspective. In my perspective over here, just like the McDonald's franchise, every single person that I sold to is a franchise, just like McDonald's franchise. For example, Tom. When I sell to Tom and Tom decided he wanted to do the business, he is Tom McDonald franchise in my eyes. So when I open a Tom McDonald franchise here, everybody that comes and buy a Happy Meal, I will get a overriding commission of the royalty payment, correct? And this is exactly the same, ladies and gentlemen, and the same royalty payment over here. So the only difference here is this: the overriding of my commission is based upon the franchise lane that I'm at. If the franchise lane is a 1A lane, I will earn 65, 65, 65, 65. If my franchise lane, if it's a second McDonald's, if my franchise lane is a 2A lane over here, how much will I be overriding, ladies and gentlemen? Answer is in the chat group. I will be overriding how much? 130, 130, and 130, and 130. Yes, for some of you guys listening to the very first time, this is how lucrative this particular business is. If the franchise lane is on a 3A franchise, every single person will be 195, 195, 195. Yes, you hear me correctly. And this is a business, ladies and gentlemen. The harder that you work, the more franchise that you open, that means the more people that you have recruited, the more money you're going to make. Yes, you hear me correctly. Guys, allow me to share with you another perspective on why this is the best business Best thing that happened after sliced bread. Let me tell you, as a conventional businessman, I was in the education business, right? If I want to increase my revenue, what do? I do more marketing, I hire more salespeople, correct? I hire how many more salespeople? If I want to get more business, I hire 10 more salespeople. Let's say I pay $1,000 for per person over here, and 10% I have to pay $10,000, correct? And what would normally happen if I hire these 10 people over here? 9 out of 10 will be the lazy buggers. If I'm not around in the business, they will be skimping and they will be lazing around. So I end up wasting money, $9,000 for the 9 sales guys that I've actually hired. The one sales guy that are doing very, very well and have great potential end up doing so well and make so much money, he set up a business and becoming my #1 competitor. That's conventional business. That's news for all of us, right? And to me, ladies and gentlemen, why this business makes a lot of sense to me is because my job scope has not changed, ladies and gentlemen. In my 𝐸𝐸𝐺𝐸 business here, if I want to expand and get more business, what do I do? What do I do? I also hire 10 people. And in this case, I don't hire. I look for 10 salesmen in this particular perspective over here. The only difference here is this. Now, these 10 salesmen that I actually sold to, they don't have a mindset of an employee. They have a mindset of an employer. They have a mindset of a businessman. So my job scope didn't change. In my own conventional business, I still got to hire 10 salesmen. In my current business right now, I still need to look for 10 business partner over here. My job scope remains the same. What is the difference? The difference here is this. I used to have $30,000 as my monthly commitment, and today I have almost zero commitment. For the $10,000, $15,000 that we make, it is almost clean. Guys, can you tell me, is this an exciting business or not exciting business? If you think it's an exciting business, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Yes, 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 yes. Can you see that your job scope hasn't changed for your conventional business versus this business over here? But your commitment has changed. Your conventional business, we're so stressed up. In this business, we have no stress. How amazing this business is. The longevity of the machine, doctor over here, warranty period is 1 year, and the machine is designed to last 5 to 10 years. Let me tell you more. If you're already excited, let me tell you more over here. The next person that you sell to, 𝐶𝐿. 𝐶𝐿 is your 2A level over here. How much is your commission, ladies and gentlemen? Type your answers in the chat group for me. No, not 195, Sunil. You are still at a 2A franchise over here. You haven't quite hit your 3A level yet. Yes, $130, Sonia. Thank you so much. It's $130 is correct. Now, 𝐶𝐿 decided, hey, I also would like to do this business as well. 𝐶𝐿 would like to sell to 3%, Ali, Abu, and Ani over here. 3%. When 𝐶𝐿 sells to Ali, how much money will 𝐶𝐿 make? Answers in the chat group real quick. How much will 𝐶𝐿 make when 𝐶𝐿 sells to Ali? 𝐶𝐿 will make $65, correct? Because it's the first customer, right? But how much money will you make from Ali sales over here? Answers in the chat group real quick for me, guys. You make $130, that's correct, because you're on a 2A franchise. You make $130 with Ali, $130 with Abu, and $130 with Ani over here. That's correct. Now, guys, let's calculate, do we have 10 total sales altogether? Because if you have total 10 sales, your next direct sales will be at a 3A franchise level, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Your indirect sales also counted. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. You have 10 direct sales over here. Your next sales to May, you're at a 3A level. And how much is your commission with May at a 3A level? Answers in the chat group, guys. $195 is correct because it's now your 3A franchise over here. At your 3A franchise over here, what is the overriding of all the franchising dollar for everybody underneath? The answer is correct. It's 195, 195, 195, 195. How amazing this particular business is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, people ask me this question all the time. Marcus, what is the cut-off date for commission? The answer is no cut-off date for commission. Now, if you submit a sales today, 10 working days later, you get paid your commission. You submit the sales tomorrow, 10 working days later, you get paid. There were times that my wife called me and said, hey, you got a couple of $1,000 just came into a bank account. My response was, oh, is it? I don't even know because I just continue working and working and working and meeting and meeting and meeting with people, right? Let me tell you more. Now, guys, what I'm going to do next year is this. I'm going to expound from Ani downwards. It's going to get a little complicating. Bear with me for a while because I want to share with you where is the cut-off point of all the commission. Just bear with me for a while, yeah? It's going to get a little complicating, okay? Now, guys, get ready to answer me. Ani decide to sell to the first customer, Bryce. How much money will Ani make? Answers in the chat group real quick. Not 130, 65 is actually correct because it's a first customer. So Ani will make $65. How much money will you make from Bryce sales? Answers in the chat group real quick. With Bryce, you're making $130. That's Sonia. Thank you very much. It's actually correct because you're on the 2A franchise. Now, with Ben, you also make $130. With Bob, you also make $130 as well. The second customer, third customer of Ani. Now, Bob decided to sell to the first customer, Joe. How much money will Bob make? Answers in the chat group real quick. $65 is actually correct. You guys are getting good. You guys are awesome, yeah? Now, how much money would you make from Joe's sale over here? Answers in the chat group real quick. How much do you make from Joe's sales? You also make 130 because you're on a 2A franchise deal. Your second customer, Jack, you also make 130. Your third customer, John, you also make 130. You got it. You guys are good. Now, last but not least, John decided to sell to the first customer, Don. How much money would John make? Answers in the chat group real quick. $65 is correct. How much money will you make from Don's sales over here? Answers in the chat group real quick for me. 130 is a popular answer. The answer is not correct. Now, the reason why it's not correct, in most cases, the answer is actually correct, but let me tell you why in this scenario it's not. Guys, you remember how many slices of pizza there is in the whole big piece of pizza? How many slices? Answers in the chat group, 8. Coach is correct. Now, we need to calculate how many of the pizza has already been given out to agents. Like, let's calculate together, okay? So John has sold to the first customer, Don. Obviously, John is a 1A level, right? First customer only. So at the 1A level over here, ladies and gentlemen, one slice of pizza is given to John. All right. However, John is a third customer to Bob already. Can you see that? The first customer, second customer, third customer. John is a third customer to Bob. Now, in this case, John is already a 2A level, correct? Are you guys following me? Yeah. If Bob is already at a 2A level, yes, thank you. That means 2 slices of pizza now given to Bob. However, Bob is also a third customer to Ani. That means Ani is also a 2A level. 2 slices of pizza given to Ani. You guys following me? Yeah? Now, Ani is also a third customer to, yes, 5 piece gone already, correct, Coach? Now, Ani is also a third customer to Kim, and Kim is also a 2A level already. 2 slices of pizza given to Kim. Now, how many slices of pizza has given out to people already in totality? Sonia, thank you very much. It's 7 slices of pizza, correct? That has already been given out. So how much is left for you out of the 8 slices of pizza? How much is left? 1. That's correct. In this case, for Dawn, you are getting 1 slice of pizza. In this case, is $65 instead of 130. Yes, you got it correctly, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, it is actually works on a zero-sum game. We will never overpay like what some people think. It will be a zero-sum game. That's why this is 1. Now, John sells to the second client, which is to Dave. Dave and Don is of the same status. You also get $65. Now, John sells to the third customer, which is to Dan. How much money would John make? Answer in the chat group real quick, guys. Third customer to Dan. And how much money would John make? 130 is actually correct. But how much money will you make from Dan's sales over here? Answers in the chat group real quick. Sunil is obviously a senior. You got the answer correct. It's 0. How could it be 0, guys? Let's do some calculation, yeah? Now, Dan is the third customer to John. So obviously, John is now a 2A level, right? So 2 slices of pizza given to John. Now, Bob remains at a 2A level. Ani remains at a 2A level. Kim remains at a 2A level. How many slices of pizza has been given away, ladies and gentlemen? Answers in the chat group real quick. It's 8 slices of pizza has been given out. How many slices of pizza left for you right now? And the answer is 0 is actually correct. So which means then is your breakaway point. From then onwards, you don't override anymore. And then is also known as a non-8A sales, and the non-8A sales do not count as your group sales counting altogether. People come and tell me, Marcus, that's no good. I thought I can override forever and ever. There are 2 things that are forever and ever. death and tax, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you why I'm completely fine with this entire system. It's because this is an almost 30 years patented commission system. Over here, we're only doing a simulation of 3 customers. This could very well be 100 customers over here, and the overriding can be a lot of money. And the reason why I'm totally fine with it is because the company needs to make some money somewhere for themselves as well, right? Now, I've shown you the 8A depth. I didn't show you the width. What if, ladies and gentlemen, your width is, if your Kim is actually your top salesperson, and Kim decided to go to Australia and sell 100 units personal sales, how much is your commission of Kim? Can you type your answers in the chat group? This one is not easy. Let me see anybody know the answer. What if your Kim goes to Australia and sell 100 unit personal sales? How much is your commission, ladies and gentlemen? Your commission is not 19,000, it's 130 US dollar multiplied by 100. So 13,000, Sonia, is correct. You get 13,000 US dollar commission. So what I'm trying to say is this, guys, the depth, the maximum is 8A, but the width has no limit to it. You can open however many franchise McDonald's that you want to. You can recruit however many salespeople that you want to. The reason why our #1 leader, Mr. Amos himself, makes so much money is because he got thousands upon thousands of franchise, and it's up for me to build. In my conventional business, I can hire 10 salesmen. Can I hire 1,000 and 1,000 salesmen? Yes, I may be able to, but it will cost me a lot of money. But in this franchise, I can actually recruit many different franchise owner over here. Yeah, but there is no limit to it, and my income is actually limitless. Is this awesome or not awesome, ladies and gentlemen? Let me share with you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say in totality, we have actually done over 20 units of sales, and now you're at a 4A level. 4A level, you sell to Tony. How much money is your commission that you're making? Answers in the chat group real quick. How much commission are you making from Tony? Answers in the chat group real quick. The answer is $260 is correct. And everybody underneath Tony, you're also making 260, 260, 260, 260, 260. At the 4A level, ladies and gentlemen, you started to print money in this organization already. Awesome. Yeah, let's say in totality, you have actually overall 50, you have accumulated 50 unit sales, and right now you're at a 5A level. 5A level sell to Simon. How much is your commission from Simon over here? Answers in the chat group real quick. 325 is actually correct. And everybody underneath Simon, you also get 325, 325, 325 until the 8A is fully maxed out. Last but not least, if you have accumulated 200 overall sales, that you have become a 6A level, you sell to Sam, and your commission will be 390 US dollar, and everybody underneath is 390, 390, 390 until the 6A is maxed out, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine how powerful this is? When you put enough effort into it, ladies and gentlemen, you can make tons and tons and tons of money over here. Awesome or not awesome, ladies and gentlemen? Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you the career bonus over here. The career bonus, if you think that is exciting, most people ask me, Marcus, what is after 6A? What's going to happen over here? We do have a career bonus, and let me share the career bonus with all of you guys over here. If you have completed your 6A level over here, every next franchise lane will get you 300 each. Thank you, Sonia. That is correct. Now, once you achieve, this is our career path bonus, yeah? When you achieve a 6A level, all right, just to let you know, if it is Kangen Water is 101 sales, with emGuarde sales is actually over 200 units. Now, when you achieve a 6A level, which is 200 units of sales of emGuarde, the company will give you a 3,000 US dollar bonus and say, good job, well done, a pat on the back. Now, the next level, if you manage to get 2 of your guys out of your 200 to actually do exactly the same thing that you're doing, which is you have 2 6A under you, you become a 6A2. And a 6A2 company will give you another 6,000 US dollar bonus and say, good job, well done. Now, guys, at the 6A2 level is where your 8A maximum is starting to extend to more than 10 levels. Yes, you hear me correctly. So the supposedly ending of the 8A level is going to go further down to more than 10 levels as well. Isn't it exciting for all of us? Then you started overriding. The overriding will be a lot smaller. It's like in the region of 50 ringgit per unit of emGuarde is about 10 US dollar, 12 US dollar we're talking about. With volume, there's a lot of money as well. In fact, the most leader actually tells me that most of the overriding commission didn't come from the 8A. Most of them come from the after 8A level. So at 6A2, we will expound further. Next, if you manage to get 2 of your guys to do exactly the same thing that you do, you become a 6A2-2, and then the company will give you another $12,000 bonus and say, good job, well done. Now, guys, the reason why we all work so hard is because of 6A2-3. Because if you manage to get 2 of the people under you do exactly the same thing that you do, you become a 6A2-3, and your company will give you a $25,000 one-off bonus and a $5,000 monthly incentive. Of course, the performance requirement is there, but according to all my seniors that I've actually spoken to, the performance requirement is something that is very, very manageable. $5,000 monthly. In fact, one of my teacher, Anthony, was actually sharing with me, normally $5,000 inclusive of your 8A commission, normally you will surpass $10,000 at least. So this is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, we work so hard. Because then goes the -4, -5, and -6 level, and our Mr. Amos is already 6A7-6. And he's already gotten a $200,000 bonus with $20,000 monthly fixed pay that we're talking about. How many of you guys, ladies and gentlemen, is excited about this particular career? Happy time? Yes, in the chat group right now for me, please, if you are still excited about this particular business. Thank you. The only regret I have in doing this business is how come I don't know this business any earlier. I still go through the conventional route, thinking that was the best thing that I should have done for myself. No, the best thing I could have done for myself and for my family is to do this business a lot earlier. And ladies and gentlemen, we have just gotten a restart for this particular business over here. Just like day one again with the emGuarde product. Guys, right on the dot at 6:30 right now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to speak to all of you guys who have not have an emGuarde machine protecting your house over here. I want to tell all of you guys over here, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Robbins says it's in the moment of your decision that your destiny is shaped. Today, you're facing an opportunity in front of you. You have a choice to decide or not to decide over here. Allow me to actually throw you this particular challenge. I want to tell you something. If you decide you want to start this particular business by buying an emGuarde machine, I don't get any financial gain from your decision over here. But guys, the biggest compliment that any speaker can actually get is to know that whatever we have done in the last one and a half hours has made a lasting impact for all of you guys. I'd like to invite all of you guys on one question. How many of you guys decided you're going to embark into this particular journey and get into the emGuarde business? Help me type yes into the chat group, a capital Y, capital E, and capital yes. In the next 60 seconds, I want to personally thank you on behalf of your family. Let's do it right now, ladies and gentlemen. Who is in this particular business in the next 60 seconds? Who is going to buy another emGuarde unit? Thank you so much, guys. Wow, so many of you guys. Make your decision right now, ladies and gentlemen, to get into the emGuarde business. Type yes in the chat group. I want to personally thank you on behalf of your family for making a decision to protect them and to have a financial breakthrough for your family. Thank you, guys. Wow, I've got so many people I'd like to thank. Let me just start from the beginning over here. Thank you, Ravin. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, MSSM. Thank you, Sunil, over here. Thank you, Zawi. Thank you, Coach Vera. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Saiful. Thank you, Dr. Nandini. Thank you, Shalap. Thank you, Uday. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Regina. RN Singh, Hamidullah, MSSM, Martha, Nwaka, Elvis, Lami, Vinti, Dr. Nandini, Saiful, William and Yasmin, Sofiak, Yen. Thank you, guys. Thank you on behalf of your children for making such a fantastic decision for your family, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I hope today I've made you guys proud. I try my level best. This is the best energy I can give to all of you guys. And I know that this talk has made a lasting impact for you and your family, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations for some of you guys who are here for the first time to make this particular decision to embark into the emGuarde journey together with us. Thank you, William and Jasmine. Thank you. Guys, I want to tell you all, for those of you guys who make the decision, have you bought the EEW ticket, ladies and gentlemen? Have you bought the EEW ticket? This time round, I've been given an opportunity by the leadership team to have a space. I've prepared some special material for all of you guys. No, Sunil, please make sure you buy the EEW ticket. Yes, 10 tickets, Saiful. buy your EEW ticket. I've already prepared some special material for all of you guys. If you come for the EEW, ladies and gentlemen, I assure all of you guys, you're going to have a massive, massive breakthrough in your Enagic business. Don't miss this particular event. Noni, yes, I'll see you there. The EEW ticket, guys, let me just go here. It is in September 27 and 28. And over 400 tickets has already been sold. Amos was telling me he's got a feeling that this time round is going to be a record-breaking attendance. You did in January, 2 people. Sonia, you are coming again, right? Because this time round, I've been given a little bit more time to be on the stage by the leadership team to actually deliver a good show for all of you guys. So you have not buy the EEW ticket, gentlemen, buy more. Buy more. I understand that there is very limited ticket is available. Come and I'll get to see all of you guys in EEW. All right there, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time over here. And I hope that today has actually left a lasting impact for all of you guys. I look forward to see you guys in the next talk to come. Thank you so much for your time, guys. God bless you all. Bye-bye.